Now I want to talk about equilibrium of forces. You have a box and there are like a lot of forces acting on the box, and which direction would the box move or which direction would it not move. Okay, so we're going to start with the simplest one, that you have a box on a table, and my question is like, what are the forces acting on it? So if you have a box on a table, what are the forces acting on it? We also will, okay, if mass is not given, we'll just assume that mass is equal to m, and if you want a number, then let's say that's 10 kg, unless it is not mentioned. Okay, this is the default that we're going to use now. So what are the forces acting on this? Okay, gravity acting down, that's a weight. It's called normal reaction, not upthrust. Okay, upthrust is usually used when you put something in liquid and the liquid is actually pushing it back up. Okay, so surfaces exert normal reaction. So this surface is going to exert a normal reaction in the upward direction. Now, so force acting vertically up, normal reaction, which will be some value x. The weight, which is mg, let's call it some value y. Now what can you tell the relationship between x and y is? Is x greater than y or is y greater than x? It will be equal. And why is that equal? The box is stationary. Okay, so Newton's second law basically says that the force and acceleration are proportional to each other. So the rate at which an object accelerates is proportional to force. Is this object accelerating? No. So the net force will be equal to 0 newtons. That's what it means. Okay, and net force is a vector, by the way. It is the total sum of all the forces. So net force is equal to force 1 plus force 2 plus force 3 plus all the forces which are there. When you add all of this up, it comes to 0. Okay, and this indirectly means that the vertical forces, the total net vertical force, will be 0 newtons, and the total horizontal force will be 0 newtons. It has to be. Okay, if the vertical forces are not 0 newtons, the object will move up and down in the upward direction. It will either rise or it will fall. And if the horizontal forces is not 0, then it will start moving to the left or right. And when I say move, I mean accelerate. It can move, but it will accelerate. Okay, let's go with another problem now. That a box on a slope. Okay, so we have the same thing. M is equal to 10 kgs. Acceleration due to gravity, which is your small g, is 10 meters per second square. Okay, and this slope, we will keep this at 30 degrees. Easy to work with. That's your theta. So what would the acceleration be? First of all, will this box move? Okay, friction is 0. There's no friction. It can slide without friction. Just to keep things simple. Will this box move? And which direction would it move? Whether it will move this direction, upwards, downwards, directly downwards over here. I mean, what are the possible options that you have? We have A, we have B, we have C. Okay, well, I'll call this D now. We have E. Okay, and do we have F? Yes, we have F over here, vertically up. And G if you want, left, and E, no, GH after GH. I forgot my alphabets. Okay, so you have 8 directions. Which direction would this object move in? D. Okay, next question is, what will the acceleration actually be in that particular direction? So let's go with force. What is the force acting on this object? And then we will look at acceleration. First is a weight. Weight will always be there. If gravity acts, weight is always there. And which direction is weight acting in? downward. So this is your weight. Okay. Next is it on a surface? Which direction is a normal reaction? It's not vertically up, it's perpendicular to the surface. That's the normal reaction. Okay, so the normal reaction is going to be in this direction. I should use the arrow, these arrows are not coming proper. Okay, that's your normal reaction. Alright. Now, are they balancing each other out? Why? Yeah, exactly. It's not in the same, it's not along the same line, right? So, do I have, let me try dash, no. So, no, this is yuck. So one way of resolving your forces to actually solve this problem is to basically use the vertical and the horizontal axis. So your normal reaction is in this direction. Normal reaction is in this direction. Your weight is in the downward direction. Correct? So your weight you don't have to resolve because it is perpendicularly, it is aligned properly with the y-axis. So your weight is going to be your weight, but your normal reaction will can be resolved along this one, which is your normal along x-axis, and the other one would be normal along y-axis. Fine. What is the angle? What is this angle and what is this angle? Yeah. This will be 30. That will be 60. Okay, so you're right over there. Okay, this is 30, this is 60. And how would you find out ny? Given that n is given, okay, we don't know the value of n, but let's say what ny. What is ny? Sine 30 is equal to nx upon n. Okay. Cos 30 is equal to ny upon n. Okay, fine. And then yeah, so ny is equal to n cos 30, right? So we know ny. Okay, the reason why we this is not helpful. I mean, you will get some values over here, ny is equal to n cos 30, all that stuff. But the reason why this is not helpful is because the directions, your x direction and your y direction, is not the direction along which your motion is happening. Okay, so when you're resolving your components, you need to use the axis, x-axis and y-axis accordingly. Okay, and you're free to choose how you want to resolve the vectors over here. Okay, now my first question is, will ny and w, will they be equal? Would they be equal? Okay, so if they are equal, will there be any motion in the vertical direction? Is this moving in the vertical direction? Is this ascending or descending? So can they be equal if they are descending? And it's not just descending with a constant speed, right? It's going to accelerate as it's sliding down. Like if you keep an object over here stationary, it's going to start moving downwards. Okay, and if it is moving downwards, then the downward force is definitely going to be greater than any upward force which is there. Okay, what we know for sure, that your ny will be smaller compared to your weight. Okay, this much we know. So this is not a good way of trying to solve this equation. You will get nowhere with it. Okay, so as a rule of thumb, if you know in the direction of the motion, more likely or than not, it's going to be the resolution will be along the direction of the motion. In this case, we will have your x and y axis drawn this way. Okay. Your normal reaction is going to be in this particular direction. That's your normal reaction. And your weight will be in this particular direction, downwards. Okay. Now, next thing that is there is what's the angle? What is this angle and how much is this angle? Remember, this is your slope. This is your 30 degrees. Okay, your weight is acting here and your normal reaction is over here. This is your W and this is your N. This is your N, this is your W. Okay, 30 and 60. Now we can resolve weight. Remember, before we were resolving your normal reaction, now we can resolve weight over here. So your weight can be resolved into Wy, assuming this is your y-axis, and Wx, which is your x-axis. So Wy and Wx. Okay. So what will Wy be? Okay. So Wy is W cos 30 and Wx will be W sin 30. Okay. I'm just using theta for now. Now my next question is, this y direction along the normal reaction, is the object moving in that particular direction? Is the object moving along the y direction? Is it moving along this y direction? So compared to the surface, is it like moving above the surface or below the surface? We know that the surface is flat. So by any chance, is this box like going to lift from the surface upwards or like going to go into the surface? Is that possible? No. So these forces which are there have to be equal, because there's no acceleration that makes it lift from the surface or makes it push it down into the surface. So these two are not happening. So we know for sure that your normal reaction has to be equal to Wy cos 30. Okay. So these have to be equal. Now from this, not Wy cos 30, it's going to be W cos 30. Okay. Now from this, can you find out the value of N? We know what W is, right? M into G. We know what theta is. It's 30 degrees. So can we find what's the value of N? How much? Exact value in decimals? We said no, we'll assume that it's going to be 10. M is going to be 10 and G is going to be 10 meters per second. How is it? 86.6, correct. 86.6 newtons. So that's your normal reaction. So that is a force that the surface is exerting on the object. Okay. Next thing, what is the force in the direction of motion? So how much is Wx? It'll be 100 cos 60 or 100 sin 60. Wx is over here. Cos 60. 15 newtons? Okay, fine. Now, we know there is 50 newtons of force acting in this particular direction. Okay, we also know from second law of motion that force is equal to mass into acceleration. So can you find out your acceleration from it? Is it 50 root 3 or is it 50? Fifty divided by 10, that's going to be 5. Okay, it's going to be 5 meters per second square, which is not the same as 10 meters per second square. The acceleration is going to be half of what you would actually expect from a free fall. Okay, now that you have an acceleration, in the previous, I think the last time, how much was the distance from point A to point B? From the top to the bottom over here? Is it? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to give you new values. The distance from point A, top of the slope, to the bottom of the slope, the distance that this object has to travel. Okay, length of AB. I'm going to call that, let's say, 70 meters. Okay. So how much time will it take to go down the slope? So object is over here. It has to reach over here. This distance from point A to point B, the tips or the edges, this is 70 meters. So how much time will it take to reach the bottom? What will the final velocity be? Your initial velocity is 0 because we're just placing it there. Okay, displacement we know, that is 70 meters, which I just gave you right now. And acceleration will be? We just found it, right? 5 meters per second. Okay, so can you find out what is the value of T and U, T and V? — 5.3 seconds. — 26.5 meters per second. Okay. So this basically gives you all information that you require about an object sloping down a slope or moving down a slope. Okay. I just want to do a comparison. So we are moving to a slightly different question over here. First, what is the height at which the object starts? So what is the absolute height? If the object reaches ground over here, which is your height is equal to 0, what is the actual height at which it starts? How would you find that? I just need to know what this height is, capital H. We know that this is 70, the hypotenuse. We know this is 30 degrees. Okay. Huh. How much is that? 35 meters. Okay. Now, my question is, if you actually had to drop an object using free fall from a distance of 35 meters, so this object is falling, okay, downwards, straight down. Okay, the height that it falls from is 35 meters. Just before it hits the ground, what would the velocity be? And without doing any calculation, can you tell me, will it be more than 26.5 or less than 26.5? When we put it on a slope and let it slide down, once it reached at the bottom, we found out that the bottom, the velocity is 26.5 meters per second, correct? Now when we drop it from a free fall, what will the final velocity be? More than this or less than this? Less Velocity, not the time. Less. Okay, fine. So velocity of free fall will be less compared to velocity at the end of the slope. Okay, now can you calculate and see how much, whether it's less or not? It's the same thing. Okay, so my question is, even if the acceleration is less, over here the acceleration is 5 meter per second square. The free fall, the acceleration is g, which is 10 meter per second square. Even with more acceleration or even with less acceleration, how is the object getting the same speed? Over here it is 26.5 meters per second. Even here is 26.5 meters per second. Why is the speed same? Before you answer that, which one will start gaining speed more fast? Like no, the free fall or the slope? Free fall. Okay, fine. So if it is gaining speed more rapidly, exactly. Okay. So although the acceleration is less, it is like slow. It takes more time to reach, and in that time it gains that speed. Okay. So the only difference over here is the time it takes to reach that particular height. This one is taking 5.3 seconds. Your free fall, if you take the check the time, how much time it takes to free fall, is going to be much less. Okay, and it won't be half. It's not going to be half of 5.3. Okay, like half of 5.3, I think so is 2.615, something like that. But it won't be that much. It's going to be much lesser than that. Okay, so remember that. Another way of looking at this is, you have some potential energy over here, right, at the top of the slope. When it reaches at the bottom, all that potential energy gets converted to kinetic energy. Is there any loss? Except heat, but where is that heat loss coming from? There is no air resistance, we do not account for that. There's no friction, then nothing. So all the potential energy has to get converted to kinetic energy. And the same thing is happening over here. Okay, and what is the potential energy of, in the first case, let's say the potential energy is PE1, the second case it is PE2. If you have to compare both of them, which one has more potential energy? Both have the same potential energy. And when it reaches the bottom, both of them convert all their potential energy to kinetic energy. So you cannot have more speed, more velocity in one compared to the other, because energy is conserved, right, in physics. So both will have 26.5 meters per second. Okay. So here's how most of your problem is going to, this is a algorithm rather, for basically solving any physics problem. First, you find out all the forces that you can. Okay. Second, you're going to resolve this into vertical and horizontal, whatever that vertical and horizontal could be. Like in your previous case, your vertical and horizontal were this. This is your vertical, this is your horizontal. So you have to like figure that out, but you will always resolve it into two components. Resolve into components. Okay. Third one, you will use the information if they are moving or accelerating, whether in the vertical or horizontal. So if no acceleration, then forces are in balance. This works the other way also. If forces are in balance, there will be no acceleration in that direction. Okay. But if there is acceleration, net force will give you the acceleration. So if there is acceleration, then force net or net force is not equal to 0. Once you have net force not equal to 0, the next thing that you can do is find acceleration. Using what? F is equal to m into a. Okay, and after that, once you find acceleration, after acceleration from a, you can find out the time taken, your final velocity. If final velocity is given, you can find out initial velocity and your displacement and all this stuff. Okay, so this is basically the flow of solving any problem, and some of the problems which are given to you might be at any stage between this. Sometimes the problem will ask you to find out the forces based on your information given over here, so you can even go upwards from in this ladder. All right, so if I tell you like there is a spring with a constant force that acts on an object over here being pulled upwards. Okay, it takes, let's say, the time 7 seconds to go from point A to point B. All right, and the distance that it travels is 60 meters or something like that. What is the force of the string? What is the spring force? Okay, how much is that you have to solve? So basically what's happening is they have given you all this information over here. You first find out the net force. Okay, after you finding the net force, you know that they're not in balance and you don't have to resolve it. So over here your weight is acting downwards and the spring is pulling it upwards. So your net force is going to be what? Spring minus weight. Correct? Alright, so from this information you find acceleration, and from the acceleration you find out the net force. From the net force you just add your weight and you'll get the spring force. So you're either moving from top to the bottom part or from the bottom to the top part. This is a much more simpler case. It's only in vertical direction, so this is not required, resolving into components, because it's only along the straight line.